Good day, good day. Say hi to my dog. This is a rare sighting of Maisie. Maisie the dog. She's drinking water that's so good for her. Anyways, all right. See you later, Maisie. We love you. Love you, Maisie. All right. So the deal is I have made a lot of money. I guess it's not like tons because I haven't sold a ton of cards recently, but it's significantly more than I would have if I hadn't made this decision. I would say, like, let me share my desk a little bit. Okay, so these are all envelopes that I've sold this weekend, and about a third of these are thanks to the adjustment that I made. And so I'm excited to kind of share. So, it's not like I'm not the biggest volume seller on YouTube, on TCGPlayer. That's just not me, but I sell for funsies, and when I'm able to increase my sales by 30%, it's a really big deal. And the margins on these sales are even better too. And so I'm really excited to share this with you. But story time, the background to this is that I got an email from TCGPlayer, and they told me, hey, we want to interview you. And I was like, okay, sounds good. Looks like my time to shine. So honestly, I don't know, like all the reasons that TCGPlayer could want to interview me, all of them get me excited. I'm like, oh yeah, TCGPlayer, I want to talk to you. I want to share my opinions with you. I want to work for you on the side. All the good stuff. That being said, I had no idea what the conversation was really going to be about. All I knew was that it was a half hour of my time and that they're going to give me a $25 Visa gift card by the time I was done, which was like, yeah, it's enough to get me out of bed. Anyways, so I hopped on this call and they're very cordial, very nice. I wasn't sure, are they going to ask me about if we want integrated shipping in TCGPlayer, which the answer is yes, absolutely we do. I wasn't wondering if they're going to ask me about competitors, about if or why use Mana Pool or why not. It's like they could ask me about all kinds of things. What they ended up talking to me about was Canada. Not joking. The entire call was about Canada. And the question was, do you sell to Canada? And the answer was like, no. Like, I set up my TCGPlayer account. I have over 10,000 reviews. I've made a lot of sales, a lot of money. I think I I sold in total over $70,000 of, I guess I sold probably they wrote me a check for $70,000. So that's after they took out their fees and stuff. They paid me $70,000 in the year 2025. So, I think I sold, $80,000, $90,000 of cards on their platform. So, not bad, not the best, not the worst. And through all that, there's never once any temptation to open up international selling. Why would I? It's kind of a pain. You have to look up, different stamps or whatever, so why would I? But we get into this conversation and it was like, oh yeah, why haven't you? And I'm like, I don't even know how to do it, honestly. We went onto the website and I tried to navigate to where you could turn on and off international shipping myself, and I couldn't find it. And they helped me find it. And then we were talking about it, and the more and more we talked about it, it was like, wait, why don't I sell to Canada? And the reason was just like, why? Well, it turns out there's good reason why. Canada has a thriving Magic the Gathering loving market, and there's not as many sellers. Like, the marketplace in the United States is just more. It's just bigger. There's just more greasy, grubby Magic the Gathering scalper sellers in the United States than there are in Canada. So it turns out there's a lot of opportunity to sell cards to Canadians. And the scale of that opportunity, what they described was something like 10 to 12% more eyes on your cards if you sell to Canada, which was actually kind of vague in hindsight. And I'll get to that in a little bit. I'll talk about the mechanics, but that was the pitch, was like, hey, if you turn on international selling to just Canada as someone in the United States, although I'm sure this logic works for international selling at lots of places and lots of countries. But specifically for people in the United States, you can just turn on Canada and you're going to get 10 to 12% more eyeballs on your cards, which should equate to, if your cards are just decently priced, it should equate to more sales. And I was like, that's enough for me. I mean, like if they had told me 5%, I would have probably turned it on, assuming that there wasn't too many hiccups or downsides. And so I start looking into it. And it turns out that, on ups.com, you can buy these international stamps, which the way USPS works, or the United States Postal System works, is there are stamps, and there's special stamps. There's the forever stamps, and there's the international stamps, and there's extra ounce stamps. But at the end of the day, all that matters is like the value of that stamp. So like an international stamp is worth $1.70 or $1.75, something like that. And then a normal stamp, a forever stamp, is worth like 79 cents. So if you take two normal stamps and an extra ounce stamp that's worth 29 cents, that's a little bit more. You're overpaying a little bit, but that's the equivalent of an international stamp. And so once I learned all that, I was like, okay, I know what I need to know. I'm turning on Canada. Boom. Basically immediately start getting sales in Canada. And it's like I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the video, it's much more than 10 to 12%. Like I've gotten like 30% plus more sales. At first, I had set my shipping price to $1.80 or something like that, which was a mistake because they take out fees out of the total price. So if you're spending $1.70 on stamps, but they're taking out 13% for fees, then you're losing money on shipping, which still, like, to move cards might not be the end of the world, but it hurts your margins. So it's not the end of the world, but I should say it's not something you want to do. So eventually I changed my price. $2.40 is what I've been charging for shipping, which has felt pretty good. After shipping and the cost of the stamps and the envelope and the top loader and the team bag and the inner sleeve and the tape, after all that cost and the fees, I'm still making money from shipping. So it's not like my pricing structure for the United States. My pricing structure for the United States is free shipping, except TCGPlayer requires like this mandatory shipping amount for any order under $5. So if someone buys a $1 card from me, TCGPlayer charges like $1.31 or whatever it is now. And that goes to me, and that will cover the stamp and the envelope and the shipping costs and the shipping fees. Usually there's an asterisk there, but for Canada, it's not free shipping. It's just every single thing you buy that's small, that's just like in an envelope, is going to cost $2.40 for shipping. And I've been getting a lot of sales, and it's been great. There's been one downside, and I think this is a reason why, because I've heard like some Canadians or somebody in my comments pointed out, they're like, I don't like buying from stores in the United States because the shipping prices are just exorbitant. They're just way too much. And I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know what that number is. I imagine right now I'm pretty cheap shipping cost wise for shipping to Canada, which I assume is why I'm getting so many sales from Canadians. So I could charge more for shipping. Maybe I should. I don't know. So far, for now, I've felt really good about getting the sales I'm getting and whatever. But the downside, and maybe the reason why people charge more, is because if you get a $50 order from Canada where you do have to ship it with tracking, that costs real money. That costs like $18 to do like an international package envelope thing. And so that's a feel bad, right? If you sell a $51 card and you charge $2.40 for shipping, but shipping actually costs you $18, then you're like, ooh, that hurts. That being said, and so I imagine that's the reason why a lot of people have risen their prices for shipping to be, I assume, like what, $4, $5, whatever, to offset that like super high shipping cost if you have to ship a tracked envelope. There might be a better way to ship a tracked envelope to Canada that I just don't know about. That's legal. I want the legal tips, you smuggling people, you. But yeah, so that's the risk. But in my experience, so that happened once. I sold one international order that was over $50. I sell a lot of cheaper cards. I sell a lot of like $1, $5, $10, $15 cards. So that's been the vast majority of my international orders, has been $1, $5, $10 cards. And it's great. It's great. I'm making money on the shipping. I am making money from the cards. I now have, I was using that trick I mentioned earlier where you just use 2 forever stamps and a extra ounce stamp, which I already had to ship. And now I have the actual international, what are these called? Forever global stamps. And it's great. Risen sales, make money, make friends in Canada. I mean, what's the downside, So it feels good. The other implication, I know I mentioned this in a previous video, but like I can ship globally for the same price. These are global stamps. They can go to any country, presumably. I don't know if we shipped out like countries we're actively at war with. I don't know. But yeah, that's a good question though. Like we have sanctions against like Russia. Can you ship to Russia? Anyway, I don't know. But it's like, why not? Why not turn on international shipping to anywhere? I guess the downside is if somebody buys that like $50 plus worth of cards, Somebody buys like an expensive card, then you have to ship it to like China with the full tracking package. It's probably like very expensive. And so that's the reason why you don't just sell to anywhere. But man, if there's a way to turn that off, if there's a way to say, hey, TCGPlayer, I don't want to sell $50+ cards internationally, but I'll sell 49 under dollar packages internationally, I'd do it. Just do it all day. Same price. And of course you charge, for shipping, but people are willing to pay it. And there's demand for these cards all over the world. So really cool stuff. That is the main topic for the evening. And there's actually a subtopic for the evening. So if you're only here for the main topic, you're free to go. Please subscribe on your way out. But the subtopic for the evening is, get ready for it, this box. What could be in this box, you say? Well, let's open it together. Dun, da, 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 da. So this box I got from a Patreon type program that I'm a part of. That is one of my favorite content creators. And, did I already spoil it? No, I'm going to take out I'm not going to say their name. No sponsors, but, I got this box. What could it be? What is in here? Whoops. Geez, sorry about that. Actually, might need to... Oh, here we go. You can kind of see it. Marvel Superheroes collector booster boxes. We've got 4 of them, baby. Oh, I want to bust these things out. Just look at their prettiness. Don't rip them. Wow. This is my first one holding in the flesh. I said that to a coworker. I work remote and we met in person and I was like, oh, it's great to meet you in the flesh. I don't recommend opening like that. Anyways, all right. So Marvel Superheroes, what's the point? The point here is I'm going to sell all these. I'm going to sell them. I'm going to sell them immediately. If you want to buy these, like, like no cap. And I think I'll post on my Discord that like, if people want to buy these from me for, PayPal goods and services, whatever, like 15-20% under TCG low is, like, I'm going to sell these. I'm going to sell these right now. And I'll tell you the reason why. And I'm going to tell this reason why on the Discord too. I'm not trying to trick anybody. And if they don't sell on the Discord or sell to you guys, I'm going to sell them on eBay. And the reason why is because I don't think the price is going up anytime soon. I just don't. I've watched the videos. I've watched the reactions. I've watched the kind of sentiment to the product. And I just don't think that it's an incredible product. And so I have a bunch of these and I'm going to try to sell them ASAP because I think the price is going to go down. I think the price for these is probably going to end up being around like $400. And so if I can sell these today for, $440 or whatever, like that feels good to me. That feels good to me. So, if you're interested in buying these for like $430, $440, something like that, maybe $420 if you want to buy a bunch, hit me up. I've got like 7 of them for sale. I'm going to put one of these on my desk behind me. Maybe I could do that right now. It'd be kind of cute. What should I replace with? Because, well, I guess I can replace the log. One sec. Oh, yep. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. All right. Replace the log. Sorry, log. You've seen better days. But alas. Anyways. So that's all. I want to share my thoughts on Marvel superheroes, what I'm doing with those boxes actively right now. So thanks for watching. And subscribe. Please subscribe.